Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece episode 865. And I'm sorry this one's late, guys. But basically what happened all of yesterday is that I was having a bit of a holiday party going on. Yeah, that pretty much that took up the entirety of my focus. And by the time the party ended, it was way too late. I was way too tired, and it was way too late in order for me to do the review. So I thought I'd just do it now, and I thought I'd just do it now. Um, but so I thought I'd just do it like the next day, which is today. So yeah. But with that having said, let's get into it. With again, this is for One Piece episode 865. So the episode starts off by telling us that it's been 12 hours, pretty much since all the ruckus on Whole Cake Island began. So nothing new there, because pretty much because the whole concept of time zones in One Piece is a little weird, but I will admit it's kind of I was a little taken back that it's only been 12 hours. Like for some reason I expected it to be a little more than that. I don't know why. But then again I think Oda did say at one point that everything that happens on the islands at Luffy's visit only happens in one day or something like that. I don't know, or or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. Uh, anyway, but yeah. There's nothing too much to take out of the 12-hour bit, except for a little quip that pretty much except for what we see with Morgans and Stussy, and the thing with the Morgans and Stussy stuff is that Morgans has a little quip about what he's going to do if the Straw Hats get away. And for those, and I'm sure that everyone has started reading the manga at this point, but I'm sure that there are also those stragglers who haven't gotten to this part in the manga yet. But for those who haven't, I need you to keep in mind what exactly Morgan said in this episode, at least, or keep it tucked away in the back of your mind, because the thing is, we're starting to reach a point where Morgan's is going to be a very key player for pretty much for I guess you could say the remainder of the Whole Cake Island arc, and it's one of the things where he's still going to be a secondary character in the background, but he's going to be a secondary character who's going to have a lot more purpose from this point on. Like everything like the end result of what Morgan's does with what Morgan's is going to do, like what Morgan's actions are going to do to just like the entire world when it involves Luffy and the Straw Hats is just going to be like bonkers. They're just straight bonkers. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm sure people have a bit of idea of what he might be planning, but I can assure you, it's gonna go pretty much way. It's gonna have a lot more of have a lot more wide eye opening expectations than you might have. Like any expectations you might have are going to get like elevated even more when Morgan's like whole involvement is finally put on screen for you to see. But yeah, yeah. Now now we also get now, aside from that, we also get introduced to another member of the Shroud family in this episode. Her name is Flompe. And I remember that when this character was first introduced in the manga, it kind of started this whole debacle about how old Pudding was. If she's if Pudding is right there with basically Flampe as one of the younger sisters of the family, and for a while I was kind of intrigued as well, but it didn't. But it was little. It didn't take too long after that I realized how little that the age thing actually how little the age thing when it came to Pudding actually mattered, because the weird thing is, over time I reminded myself that for as goofy and over the top as One Piece is, at the core the setting is still in an era of pirates, and just and in just that era of pretty much of the whole of basically of sea of sea and explorations of sea exploration and whatnot. So knowing all that of what kind of like air of what kind of timeline we're dealing with in the One Piece world, and what kind of setting we're dealing with One Piece, Um, I it was kind of one of those things where I started saying to myself, okay, if I reminded myself of the setting we're dealing with, and let's be honest, uh, a, p- the whole point in history that One Piece is covering, that I think we can assume that they were quite a bit lax on the whole legalities of things like marriage and even age of consent. So looking back, I don't think the whole thing with Pudding's age, it wasn't as big a deal as we think it is. I don't think. And now, having said all that, in terms of the character of Flomp Pay herself, it's, I'll be honest and say that she is definitely one of the least interesting of the Charlotte family thus far. Outside of how entertainingly, I guess pretty much I guess how entertainingly she pretty much is when it comes to how pretty much how she's only interested in how others view her or something like that. Like that's I guess there's something we can take from that in the fact that Big Mom has kind of fucked up her children so much to where or they only care about their about how their family views them or something like that. But yeah, there wasn't much to say terms of the introduction of this character for sure. Um, and yeah, let's talk about the big development that went down this week with the Luffy versus Katakuri fight, which is that Luffy has got a firm grasp on his own future sight ability now, which I would have liked to see more of, but I get that they needed to build up the tension for next week. Um, and next week's episode, where everything is probably going to get a lot more of a full focus. Having said that, however, I do like how Luffy's flashback ended up giving us a little more context in terms of what it means to use Future Sight, because while it makes sense that the Future Sight is born from the building blocks of observation hockey, I like how there is a lot more to it than how there's a lot more to pretty much getting a grasp on it than it just being you need to have a strict focus in order to use it. Like it it and you need to have a sense for pretty much, and you need to have a sense of the type of opponent that you're facing first in order to use it properly. Since I think even I think pretty much really put it best. Humans act in vastly different and varying ways compared to animals. Like animals, they pretty much act on a primal instinct alone. Like whereas humans, they pretty much go through where humans act on varying different instincts. So yeah, there is definitely a key component that you need to take into effect as well when you're using future sight. So, and in a sense that is kind of what Katakuri has been doing as well with Luffy this entire fight. He's been taking into account everything that Luffy does. So yeah. Um, on a technical level with this fight of Luffy versus Katakuri, I really like how Toei used a lot of close up shots in order to in order to convey all of Katakuri's basically shocked and amazed emotions. Like we basically got a lot of close ups of Katakuri just having wide eyed moments of seeing Luffy actually having a degree of mastery over future sight, and now we see how panicked he is in order to try and finish this fight. And I have a feeling that yeah, that he's that we're about to that things are about to get even a lot more brutal than what we've seen thus far. And to be fair, things were pretty the fight in this episode, it was pretty brutal in itself. So yeah, it should be interesting to see how more brutal things get from here, because Luffy was just beaten and battered throughout this entire episode. So yeah, how I think now like we're getting to like the true essence of the fight now almost. Um, Also, if there's anything I think that this episode served as a reminder, if there's anything I think that this episode did for us, is that it served as a reminder to us of how sadistic that of how sadistic that pretty much not how sadistic. Uh, we of I think it reminded us of how Nami can be just absolutely sadistic, like and how much of a vengeful streak that she can actually have. Because I was actually legitimately a little bit scared for Zeus in this episode, for Zeus's situation near the end of this episode, and like with the way that Nami was basically manhandling Zeus, like stretching him, crushing him in her hand, like just doing all that with that sadistic "I'm gonna kill you" look on her face. I was like, Zeus, I I'm so scared for you right now, dude. Like I never felt like yeah. I think that's the most I've felt sorry for Zeus, like in his situation and near the end of the episode. Like I would not want to trade places with him at all. And let's be honest here. I think if we were in the same situation as Zeus and only given the options of being Nami of being her servant or dying, I think we all know the route we'd take. Cause and for anyone who says that you would rather die over being her servant, I would like to remind you that of the character we're dealing with here. That again, Nami has a very vengeful and sadistic streak. So if she gives you the option of killing you, then you know that your death is not going to be quick and painless. Like she is going to make you suffer as much as possible, even before even before she decides to deliver the final blow. So yeah. So yeah, that's like, I mean, that's just a fact. Like that is who Nami is. So yeah, you're either way. Like I think we'd all choose being her servant over dying by her. Trust me on that one. I think that's the one we'd all like to pick. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, any list or Crunchyroll. Death Knight of me, signing off. Later, guys.